Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Gaming Mix podcast, your official podcast from Analog Stick Gaming. You should know me by now, hopefully. My name is Jordan, one of the co-owners, and I am, of course, joined by Jeff. But before I go to Jeff, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope your Christmas was very good, and I hope you didn't end up with food poisoning like I did yesterday. I was dealing with that yesterday, and
Ouch.
yeah, let's just say if I'm a bit sluggish today, I'm still recovering from that, and that's the reason why. But Jeff, how are you?
Not too bad, actually. Been up for a little while, watching some burnt peanut from last night after I went to bed, and dealing with this little menace, if I can get her on camera here.
Yes, Jeff has another pet, everybody, who has not been introduced yet.
She's so cute. Her name's Nyx. She's the goddess of chaos, and she likes to run across my keyboard and hack things.
Nyx from Star Wars Outlaws.
Exactly. Might even be the same spelling.
Oh, wow, that's funny. But, of course, if you've seen the heading of this episode, you will know that this is Analog Stick Gaming's Game of the Year episode of the Gaming Mix podcast.
The only Game of the Year awards that actually matter.
And we will be going through all of our other award categories for the end of the year as well. And Jeff reliably informs me that there's been a late addition to our award lineup
I can't believe we forgot it.
that we're going to have to talk about during the show. However, before we get to that, we have some very, very sad news, which I think we should talk about first.
Yeah, this kind of came out of nowhere. So Vince Zampella, who's the head of Respawn Entertainment, the overseer of the Battlefield franchise, as well as the director on some of the best Call of Duty games, bar none, has died. As reported by NBC Los Angeles, the former Infinity Ward co-founder and Call of Duty co-creator died in a car crash on Southern California, Angeles Crest Highway. The car reportedly veered off the road in the San Gabriel Mountains and hit a concrete barrier, after which it caught fire. The driver was trapped in the fire, while a passenger was ejected from the car as a result of the crash. The driver died at the scene. The passenger died on the way to the hospital. It's not confirmed whether or not, now at this time of what I'm reading here, it's not confirmed whether or not he was the driver or the passenger. But nonetheless, we've kind of lost an industry icon, and especially one who has kind of put EA back on track with a lot of absolutely fantastic releases.
Yeah,
I mean, the Titanfall and Apex Legends, and even like the resurrection of the Battlefield franchise.
Well, let's be quite honest for a second. If you actually go back through Vince Zampella's history, especially as a leading developer, he hasn't missed ever. Like, he might be one of the only developers that has never really had a miss, created the Call of Duty franchise as we know it today. Like, obviously his first one was Modern Warfare, and back in the day, Call of Duty 4. Everybody knows what a skyrocket that game was for the entire franchise. But then, as you said, he leaves, joins EA, does Titanfall, ends up becoming like the head of basically all their single player games over there.
Honestly, he's had kind of an amazing career. And it's one thing to kind of lose someone to old age. It's or like a terminal disease or something, but something that could be just incredibly avoided. Like, if you've seen that footage, that car is just going way too fast.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know whether or not there was a faulty accelerator or whatever the case is, but it just feels like something that could have been absolutely avoided.
Yeah, and either way, look, we're not here to speculate on why this happened, or anything like that. That's not what we're here for. But we did want to take a second just to kind of send our condolences to any of Vince Zampella's family and point out what an industry legend he was, because I think a lot of people don't even realize how many games he's actually been involved in, because he's not a name that is spoken about as often as, say, a Hideo Kojima or a Cory Barlog or a Neil Druckmann. And yet he's probably been just as impactful on the industry as all of those names that I've just mentioned.
Yeah, I
So,
think more people have actually enjoyed Vince Ampella's games, I think, from a population standpoint than
yeah,
anyone that you've mentioned there, because Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2 are some of the most played games in the
yeah,
in the industry. Um,
definitely.
Apex Legends did fantastic numbers for them. Titanfall 2 is still considered one of the best FPS shooters of all time. This
Yes.
Battlefield is the first Battlefield, I think, in the history of the franchise to top Call of Duty for the
Yeah.
year. Like, he was the right man for the job, no matter where you kind of put him.
Yeah. Yeah. And it does feel like you could have given him anything, and he would have helped to make it good, you know, like he wasn't directly involved in the Star Wars games from Respawn, for example, but we do know that he had oversight to some degree on those games. So therefore he would have played some role in the quality of those games and in the direction of those games. So he'll be sorely missed by everyone in the industry, you know, and I've spoken to people who spoke to him just like several days before this incident happened. And he was at the Game Awards, and people spoke to him there, and he was in good spirits. He was looking forward to everything they have coming down their pipeline. And yeah, this is really sad news. And it's you know, as Jeff said, it's one thing to lose somebody to old age or some kind of terminal illness where it can't be helped, but when it's an accident of this nature, regardless of the reason that it's happened,
Especially since
it's
it was just a single car thing. Like, a car
yeah,
crash is a little bit different. There's kind of two people at play.
yeah,
But the fact that it was just kind of speeding around in a Ferrari, it's just unfortunate. Like, you see these influencers that are doing it like intentionally and trying to do for views, and then they get in a big accident or whatever the case is.
yeah,
But we don't know what the situation was for this, and it just
yeah.
feels so avoidable.
Absolutely. So yeah, once again, our thoughts go out to Vince Zampella's family, friends, anyone who knew him,
Colleagues, yeah.
because we understand what a loss this will be. So, you know, thank you, Vince, for all the games that you've made and been part of over the years, and we hope that your legacy can live on through those games forever. But now, before we get to our main topic of the show, Jeff, I believe we do have a quick word from our sponsor, right?
Yeah, so NordVPN is still handling its holiday deal, which is 75% off plus 3 months extra. Now this goes for about $379 Canadian, which is probably around $299 US. But why NordVPN? Why not Express? Why not Private? Why not Proton? Why not Pure? And that's because if you take a look at what NordVPN offers, the covered locations is 178 as opposed to 105, 84, 117, and 80 plus. The overall features that it offers, like for example, it's the only one of all of those other four that handles malware scans for downloads, alerts about leaked credentials, and a tracker and ad blocker. Those other companies, for example, Private VPN offers none of that. ExpressVPN offers two of those. Same with PureVPN. Proton VPN only offers the tracker and ad blocker. So this is an all-in-one VPN that is honestly the best deal that you're going to get, especially for the year what it is. And if you go to nordvpn.com/analogstickgaming, you can take advantage of this deal, and you can help support the site if you continue your subscription past the 30 days. You can also take a look at the password manager by accessing any of our news pages. So if you are in a habit of losing all of your passwords, just completely forgetting about them, you don't have
Almost
to worry
like
about
Jeff.
almost like me. almost lost my Xbox account because it decided to like screw me over, but got it back.
But before we move on from that, I do just very quickly want to say as well that, to be completely upfront, myself and Jeff wouldn't recommend this if we didn't think it was worth it. Like we don't take sponsorships willy nilly. We've got a section on our site that literally says we are not interested in,
Unless
So
it's like Raid Shadow Legends and you want to pay me 10 grand to like talk about the game, I absolutely will shill to that. I have no shame on that. Or if you are a PC manufacturer and you're like, hey, we can send you a gaming PC, I will just love it. I will give it a 10 out of 10.
And we would actually get some good use out of that. So if any of you are listening, but yeah, I've actually used NordVPN and I've used their password manager. I really do highly recommend it. And the deal that you can get it on right now using our link is incredible. You might as well try it because even for your own sake, if you don't, they have the money back guarantee. So if you don't like it within the first 30 days, you can get your money back.
And especially with a lot of big streaming things and stuff like that. Like if you don't have access to certain content and you're like, oh, I always miss out on the show because my Netflix doesn't have it. Well, your Netflix can have it. You just have to switch your country.
Yeah, because your Netflix can be everywhere with the use of a VPN. So yeah, if you need a VPN, use our link. It'll be in the description below on the YouTube as well, but you can find it in any of the banners on our website. But now is the time, Jeff, to get to Analog Stick Gaming's end of the year awards, including our Game of the Year, which of course will come up last. But why don't we go through our other categories first?
All righty. So I'm just going to start from the top just because then I can scroll down and we can get all to those. So our first award is Best Indie/Small Scale Studio Game. Now, the nominees, so basically how this works is I come up with 5, Jordan comes up with 5, there's some crossover, but the stuff that doesn't have a crossover becomes one of the nominees. So we can have up to 10 nominees for an entire award. So the nominees for Best Indie/Small Studio Game are Tales of Iron 2, Hades 2, Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree, Ball Pit, Absalom, Dispatch, Blueprints, and Monsters Are Coming, Rock and Road. The winner with 8 points. Now, how this essentially works as well is we score our first place by 5 points and our last one by 1 point, or however many nominees we have. So the winner with 8 points is Ball Pit. Alrighty.
Ball Pit. What a game.
What a game. Super fun. Like I went into it not knowing anything about it and I'm like, wait, what? Oh my God, this is like an Arkanoid kind of thing going on. I'm like, because I kept thinking it was gonna be some like Marble Madness kind of thing, but yeah, it's Devolver Digital. You know,
and exactly it's actually it's almost like 2 different games in one game as well. It's quite clever in that regard.
Like it's got the city builder that still works off the Arkanoid bouncing and all that kind of stuff, and then it's got the gameplay that works all up off of that. And it's absolutely fun. We got code for Rebecca as well to play on Switch, and she got hooked. And every single person I have recommended this game to has just got completely hooked.
Yeah.
It is absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, like a lot of our other nominees and stuff, you get things like Hades 2 and Dispatch. Those are absolutely fantastic games. But this one just kind of came out of nowhere with no expectations at all because.
Yeah. And also, given that it grabbed other members of our team in the same way, it kind of just felt like this was the right one, right, for this category. So it worked out well.
Absolutely phenomenal. I think it's made by like 4 or 5 people or something like that. So, all right. So our next one is, let's see here, Best Narrative. And the nominees are Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Trails in the Sky, First Chapter, South of Midnight, Dispatch, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, and Mafia, The Old Country. And the winner for Best Narrative is Claire Obscure, Expedition 33.
I mean...
Yeah. honestly, like the first hour of that game, you are hooked, and you are
Yeah,
like on the edge of your seat for what that story is going to be.
yeah,
And it is absolutely phenomenal that like a lady comes in and auditions for one of the voice roles, gets the voice role, but then through the course of the development, leaves the voice role and becomes the lead narrative writer on this
yeah,
game
yeah.
and produces one of the best scripts I think I've seen in a game.
Mhm.
Some of the best character development and growth, and like honestly, everything that game does from a story point of view is phenomenal,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's backed up by some amazing performances as well. But like the story is just
yeah.
unbelievably good.
And also, to say about this award, like this is best narrative, and narrative isn't just about the story you're telling, but it's about everything that feeds into that, right? And you can have small conversations in this game that actually reveal a lot about a character and develop relationships with others in your party. And it's really interesting seeing all of those interactions. And I think that this is the first game in quite a long time where I have not skipped one line of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievably well written. So yeah, I think this is well deserved, and I'm sure that we'll talk more about this game later on.
A couple times. Alrighty. Moving on to Best JRPG/RPG. And the nominees are Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Trails in the Sky, First Chapter, Echoes of the End, The Outer Worlds 2, Trails Through Daybreak 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Avowed, and Octopath Traveler 0. And the winner with 9 points. Actually, sorry, the previous category, there were 10 points for Claire Obscure Expedition 33. So the winner with 9 points is Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Mm.
Like the JPG, the kind of the RPG mechanics in this game, I think are phenomenal, into a point where you get a lot of people that don't like turn-based. They just absolutely hate it. But
Mhm.
this feels more almost like a fighting game than an actual like turn-based game, because you've got
Yeah,
parries, you've got dodges, you've got all these different mechanics that are kind of feeding into the combat system, and
yeah,
that is accentuated by these perks that you can basically add. And then as you develop your characters more, you can add more perks and more of them that get permanently added, where they don't need that particular perk added. And it's this incredible system that is as deep as it is shallow in a lot of ways.
yeah.
And it is just absolutely phenomenal, and just really, really lends itself to being just a really fantastic game.
I think that where I would praise this game a lot as an RPG slash JRPG is that it does a similar thing to what the Like a Dragon franchise did for me when it turned into a turn-based franchise, and that is it's very, very easy to pick up and understand. But if you want the depth there of being able to create these crazy builds where you can basically do these shots to things and just replenish your shots all the time without ever having to actually take a move, you can do that. You like there are so many things you can do with the builds here in this game
Yeah.
that it is, as you said, it's really, really deep. It's got a lot of depth there should you want to engage with it, but it's approachable first. Whereas I think some RPGs don't have that same layer of approachability. They just kind of go all in on the depth side of things. And that's not bad either, but there's a reason that Claire Obscure has kind of captured so many people. And I think that
Yeah.
that's one of the main ones
Yeah.
for
It's like
sure.
when you get into some JRPGs, there'll be like a tutorial at the beginning, and it'll teach you like 9 different mechanics. And you're like, okay, no, no, no. You're explaining way too much, way too quick. And
Yeah.
this game kind of spaces out a lot of stuff. I mean, there's some mechanics you don't learn until like the back half of the game.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's phenomenal. All right, so we're going to best soundtrack slash original score, and the nominees are Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment, Absalom, Clair Obscur: Expedition 33, Hades 2, Metroid Prime 4, Death Stranding 2: On the Beach, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and South of Midnight. And the winner with 10 points is Clair Obscur: Expedition 33. I mean, this is the guy's first video game soundtrack. He made like 9 hours of music, and almost every single piece of music in this game is phenomenal. Like I still think of the main theme, um, and
Yeah.
some of it's just fantastic.
I so to put it in perspective, because some people may know this about me, but others probably don't. I actually used to work in music before I did all of this games media stuff. I was an associate musician at a charity where we work with young people with disabilities to teach them how to play music and put on different performances and things. Because my first ambition in life was to be a movie or video game composer. That was what I wanted to be. And when I heard this story that the composer of this game was someone who was essentially found on SoundCloud, and then he's gone on to create arguably one of the best soundtracks to a video game ever. And not only did he create an amazing soundtrack, but he went above and beyond by doing nearly 9 hours of music, And each track is very unique and has a unique feel and tone to it, but they all have their place within the game and they all fit in those moments incredibly well. And, it's a soundtrack that there aren't many video game soundtracks that I listen to away from the game itself, but this is one of those where I'll listen to this soundtrack while I'm writing a review now. I'll be writing up a review and I'll just have like Lumiere playing in the background. It's kind of that's what it's become for me because it's incredible music. And you can go online and you can see tons and tons of videos on YouTube of like well-known musicians and music teachers and things like that reacting to this soundtrack, and they can't believe it's from a video game because that's how good it is.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
this
like a lot of
music
people,
stands on its own.
it's like a lot of people will be like, oh, like what's your favorite music? And you'll be like, oh, it's like video game music, and they're like, well, video game music can be that good. And I'm like, yeah, it absolutely can.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's mind blowing to kind of think that certain soundtracks can be gatekept so much, but yeah,
absolutely.
it's
So,
absolutely phenomenal.
congratulations here. And I want to say congratulations to the main singer on the soundtrack as well, because from my understanding, she also helped with some of the kind of creation of the soundtrack. She wasn't just singing. So,
Yeah,
I brilliant job by them both, and I can't wait to see what either of them do in the future, especially in the video game space, because I will be watching out for their names wherever they pop up in the future.
for sure. All right, so our next category is Best Art Direction, and the nominees are Metroid Prime 4, Chronos: The New Dawn, Clair Obscur: Expedition 33, Arc Raiders, Absalom, Dispatch, Death Stranding 2: On the Beach, and South of Midnight. And the winner with 10 points is Clair Obscur: Expedition 33.
Yes,
Um, this game is visually absolutely stunning. It feels like, again, like the whole narrative is that you're kind of inside this painting, and you feel that with like
yeah,
every single brush stroke of every
and
background.
you can see it. You can see it. You can feel it, and it just. I've never played a game that I can remember where the art style is actually so central to the narrative of the game. and feeds directly back into the narrative of the game.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it helps that, you know, not only that, but the game looks great as well. Like, this doesn't look out of place alongside those other kind of more photorealistic games that we might traditionally award in this category. You know, it's yeah, brilliant job, and one of the more unique looking games of this style that I've played. So yeah.
Alrighty. Our next category is Best Action Adventure. And the nominees are Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, Echoes of the End, Monster Hunter Wilds, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, and Ghost of Yotai. And the winner with 9 points, and that is Assassin's Creed Shadows. This has been my favorite Assassin's Creed Shadows since Odyssey, or Assassin's Creed games since Odyssey. And this is made by the same team. That's one thing that's, you know, really nice about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually think that this is my favorite. It's my favorite of the RPG style Assassin's Creeds. Like, since they changed style of game and they went to more level based and gear based games with much bigger maps and all that kind of thing, I think this one is the best of those. And the reason I think that is because Odyssey is an amazing game. It didn't need to be an Assassin's Creed game. Origins was the first time they did it, so they kind of were figuring things out still, and I think they made some mistakes there. And then Valhalla, I think,
Just
it was just way too big and bloated. It wasn't a bad game in its quality, but they just tried to do too much with it. And then I think with Shadows, something happened where the developers almost, I think after the smaller game of Assassin's Creed Mirage, which was made by a different team, I think that they potentially started to think, okay, people do have an appetite for the more traditional style of Assassin's Creed. How can we pull Shadows back a little bit in that direction to make something that feels very Assassin's Creed while still being this big RPG style thing that people will enjoy? Because let's remember that the RPG Assassin's Creed games are the best selling in the whole franchise. Like, they sell very, very well and people love them. But yeah, I think that the balance between old school Assassin's Creed and new school is almost perfect here in Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't think you could get that balance any better without going too far in one direction or the other. And is the game perfect? Does it do everything right? No. But I do think it's the best Assassin's Creed game in a good number of years, even if you're someone who thinks Odyssey is the best, or if you're someone who thinks Black Flag is the best. And, you know, there are rumors around that we might be getting a remake of that soon.
I think they officially named what it was.
Yeah, because it went to one of the ratings boards or something. So we pretty much know it exists. So that will come at some point. But my point is, whether you're one of those people, like, up until Shadows, I think that Black Flag was probably my favorite in the entire franchise. I actually now think that Shadows is my favorite. Yeah. And I didn't think I would say that going in, because let's remember, this game had so much pressure on it. Not only from a Ubisoft business standpoint, but from an Assassin's Creed franchise standpoint, because they took us to the one destination where every single fan of the franchise wanted to go for like the last 15 years. You know? So congratulations to that team. I'm glad that they're still supporting the game. They have said that they're going to have a year or two of content as well. So I think there's going to be some more expansions to the game and things like that, which is going to be interesting to see. And yeah, I think it's rightfully won an award here because it is one of the better games within its style of game that you can play this year. And it made both of our top fives for this category, which is the reason that it won. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
All right. Previous nominees for that award that were cut off on the other page was Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, and Absalom. I forgot to scroll down. All right. So our nominees for Best Action Game are Ninja Gaiden 4, First Berserker Kazan, Metal Eden, Arc Raiders, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Mafia: The Old Country, Borderlands 4, and Battlefield 6. And the winner with 6 points is First Berserker Kazan. This was one of my favorite games of the year. Visually, it looks amazing. Gameplay-wise, it plays incredibly nice. Some of the boss fights are absolutely great, but it's just that combat system is just one of the best in terms of like the Souls-like kind of games, where I think it even has like better combat than what most like actual Souls games have. Even like the actual From Software, I think it is just better combat all around. Yeah, this game was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, as you know, I only started playing it around 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I have been playing other things at the same time, so I'm kind of slowly working my way through it, which is why it hasn't been higher in my rankings for certain categories this year. But I do really, really like the game, and based on what I've played, I actually agree with everything that you just said. I think it's completely true.
It's also like incredibly approachable too, because it's got like an easy mode and then the normal
it's
mode.
It's actually got difficulty settings for this kind of genre.
You can play male or female, which is interesting. They added the female Kazan after, but this is also like a spin-off of Dungeon Fighter Online, so you get to kind of get the origin of Kazan, which is wildly entertaining for what they've done. All right, so best licensed game. This is our first category where we're going to actually discuss it. The nominees are SpongeBob SquarePants: Titans of the Tide, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business, and Nicktoons Dice of Destiny. So right now, Marvel Cosmic Invasion and RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business are tied at 9 points apiece. So we have our first tie. Now, for me, the reason that I think Marvel Cosmic Invasion takes this is the simple fact that this is a return to a type of arcade Marvel game we haven't had for decades, where RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business, as great as it is, it is more of what we had with RoboCop just like a year or two prior. And to me, it's not as good as the actual base RoboCop game.
Interesting.
Because like, again, like it only takes place in a building, so it's basically like the raid. It's kind of going off that. Mm-hmm. But for me, it doesn't have as many of the big moments that I kind of loved about Rogue City. But I still think it's fantastic. I still think it's an absolutely great RoboCop game. It's just with Marvel Cosmic Invasion, for me, like that is a game that we haven't had Marvel-wise in a very long time. And they just absolutely nail it.
I mean, you definitely make a strong point, and I think that in that regard, Marvel Cosmic Invasion is definitely the fresher feeling of these two games. I'm just not sure in my head whether it's the better of these two games. I'll go with you on this one. Because when I think about it, my only real issue with Cosmic Invasion is that I think it's too short of a video game.
Yeah, that's the genre, though. Like, the genre has always been these, like, less than 2 hour kind of,
Yeah.
things, because like the replayability, because like again, you have like 8 characters on screen because each person can
Yes.
pick like 2 characters, and I never really noticed much slowdown at all really when it came to the game. Like it just
Yeah.
played fun. It had open crossplay. The
Mhm.
ability to jump in and out of games was great. Like it would tell you where in the level they are by the percentage of like how much they've moved through the level. And like
Yeah.
I do love Rogue City, but like for me, it didn't highlight my favorite moments of Rogue City
Hmm.
in a way. Like it still was extremely good, but I
Yeah.
did score it a lot lower than what Rogue City was, because I just don't think it really fit as well. And like there are the moments where you play as like a human character, which is fine. It is fine for what it does, but it didn't really pull me in as much as Rogue City.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I'm happy to go with you on this one and award Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
All right, let me. No, come on. There we go. I just gotta update the doc.
Yes, we're doing this live, people. I told
Okay,
you there would be some disagreements.
so we got best 2025 game you didn't play, and the nominees are Ghost of Yotai, Path of Exile 2, Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Digimon Story, Time Stranger, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Trails in the Sky, First Chapter, and Ninja Gaiden 4. Now, these are games, are essentially like I put in my 5 that I never played. Jordan put in his 5. So some of those games I have played. Now,
Yes,
the this award right now is currently in a tie between Ghost of Yotai and Donkey Kong Bonanza. So I didn't play Ghost of Yotai, and you haven't played Donkey Kong Bonanza.
that's correct.
Um, Now you've beaten Ghost of Yotai.
Yes.
I haven't beaten Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've got. I don't even know how close I am. I really have no idea. And every single time I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and start playing this.
What
Another
I
game
would
comes up.
say, what I would say is that if I had played both of these games, at least the impression that I get based on what you've told me about Donkey Kong, and even though I haven't played it myself, I do trust your opinion. And what I would say is that if I was to only recommend one of these games to someone, and they said to me, right, I want the best quality experience possible, then I would probably put Ghost of Yotai slightly ahead
Yeah.
of Bonanza.
Yeah, I can see
That
that.
that would be where my head goes with it. So I actually think that although I've potentially missed out on some bigger games this year based on our other nominees,
Yeah.
I would actually say that your top nominee for game that you haven't played is probably the winner here. So
Yeah, because like again, like I haven't even beaten Bonanza at all, stuff like that. So like if I had have beaten it, it'd probably be a little bit more neck and neck.
yeah,
So we want to go with Donkey Kong.
whichever one you're feeling, I'll leave this decision up to you.
I'm thinking Donkey Kong just because again I haven't beaten it yet.
Okay.
So we'll go with Donkey Kong Bonanza wins best 2025 game you didn't play. And Donkey Kong and yeah, they were both tied for 5. Now
Nice.
this one here is best 2025 game you didn't finish. And the
Yes.
nominees are Ninja Gaiden 4, Mafia: The Old Country, First Berserker Kazan, Sword of the Sea, Silent Hill F, Octopath Traveler 0, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. And the tie is between Ninja Gaiden 4 and the First Berserker Kazan. Now I've tried getting back to Ninja Gaiden. Again, more stuff just keeps getting
Yeah.
released, and I get more codes for whatever, so I have to put it on the back burner. Um, but yeah, I don't know, how are you feeling on this one.
So I'll be honest. I'll approach it this way. Ninja Gaiden 4 was on my I haven't played list, right?
Yeah.
But the further that I get away from the game, the less I actually want to play it. So I'm not sure that you have missed out on much by not finishing it yet. Whereas, based on what you've told me about First Berserker Kazan, the fact that I haven't finished it yet frustrates me.
Yeah.
That, and it makes me think that maybe that is the best game that one of us hasn't finished this year, just because I would imagine, had like, slight spoiler here, that game doesn't make it into my top 10 for game of the year. And I would imagine that if I had finished it, it probably would.
Yeah.
So I would say that I would personally award this one to First Berserker Kazan, but
Sure.
it's if you're happy with that.
No, we'll go with that there. All righty. All right. So, best 2025 game you didn't finish. The award goes to First Berserker Kazan. All right. So, our next category is best sports/racing. And the nominees are Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, WWE 2K25, Mario Kart World, Hot Wheels, I got spacing here, Hot Wheels Let's Race Ultimate Speed, Fast and Furious Arcade Edition, EA FC 26, and PGA Tour 2K25. And the winner is WWE 2K25. It's a solid wrestling game. I think, honestly, the only thing I want to see improved on it is just better facial animations.
I agree.
Just because a lot of wrestlers, like, they do these extreme faces and stuff, and there's just like this like lifeless kind of look. And that's honestly the only real complaints I have with WWE 2K25, because like the wrestling feels very good, like the presentation is really nice. Yeah. Just everything about that game just feels better than it has in a while.
And what I like in particular about 2K25, as someone that has played and reviewed the wrestling games for the last few years now, is that they added the island, right? The island is the big new thing in 2K25,
Yeah.
but it's not so in your face that it gets in your way. And it's not as money grabbing as some of the other modes that we see in some of the other sports games every year. So I think that the balance between being this arcadey fun wrestling game and this sports game that is designed to make money is really good in WWE. And I also think the other thing I always say about WWE games compared to other sports games is, because WWE games are essentially like fighting games, in like, if we're really being realistic, they're more like fighting games. I think you can actually you can recommend them to people who aren't even wrestling fans, and they would have a good time with the game. Whereas I don't think you could recommend, PGA Tour 2K25 to someone who isn't a golf fan, and I don't think you could recommend EAFC to someone who isn't a football/soccer fan.
Yeah.
In the same way. Whereas you can do that with some of the racing games, and you can do that with the WWE game. And of course, what did help WWE this year is that we both played it, and we both got code for it. So I do want to say thank you to 2K for that as well. Thank our partners here. But yeah, WWE 2K25 is probably the best racing game, probably the best sports game in terms of kind of having that presentation to make it feel authentic, but having the fun elements of an arcade game. WWE is probably the best, and it's probably the best wrestling game in the last 5 or 6 years. So if you haven't played a wrestling game in a while, I would really recommend this one.
Yep. All righty. Our next category is best handheld game. Now, this is a game that we've played actually on a handheld. And the nominees are Hades 2, Maiden Corpse, Neon Inferno, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Ball Pit, Blueprints, Monsters Are Coming, Rock and Road, Mario Kart World, and Dispatch. And the winner is a tie between Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, and Ball Pit. Now, like you're saying, like I would give Ball Pit to this.
Mm-hmm.
I just never played it on a handheld.
That's fair. That's fair. I did, which is why it obviously made it into my nominations.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of torn because as you know, Age of Imprisonment is one of the games I put down as like a game that I missed this year that I really do actually want to play.
Yeah.
However, given that we've both played Ball Pit, even though you haven't played it in a handheld fashion, I'm sure that you can understand and see how it actually translates quite well to being a game on a handheld device.
Oh, for sure.
So with that in mind, given that we've both played it and both really like the game, I think Ball Pit is the correct choice here, right?
Yeah. My only argument for it, which won't win it, is the fact that like Becky doesn't have a Switch 2, but we were able to still play multiplayer because of how the Switch 2 handles its multiplayer with that game.
Yeah.
Which is very, very neat. And playing that game like multiplayer and stuff was super fun. But yeah, like I can definitely give that to Ball Pit. Just because of the type of game it is, and it kind of lends itself to being a handheld game extremely well, just because it is like one of those like, oh, I'm just going to play a quick round.
Well, my light decided to die, so that was fun. We'll figure that out in a minute. But, yeah, I agree. Like, I think it's a hard. That might be the most difficult decision yet between those two games. But yeah, I personally would go with Ball Pit for that one.
All right, so Ball Pit wins best handheld game. Our next category is best DLC / expansion / update. And the nominees are Emma Frost in Marvel Rivals, Echoes of the End, the complete rework for the definitive edition, Lies of P Overture DLC, and Kingdom Come 2 DLC Mysteria Escalise, or I don't know how to even say it.
I have no idea how you say it, and I've played it. So.
All right. The winner for that, with all 10 points, is Lies of P Overture. This update, combined with the update that came with the game to kind of add difficulty settings and stuff like that, just made that game incredibly approachable. The DLC's got some fantastic new areas, really, really nice boss. It really just complements that game in a way where it was just kind of came out of nowhere that there was going to be this kind of expansion. At least for me, I didn't know that there was going to be. I thought they were just going to work on the next thing. But yeah, they really, I wouldn't say turned that game around, but they've kind of opened it up to a lot of people that maybe just didn't have a chance to play.
I think the best way of saying it is they made it so much more approachable.
Yeah.
And, I think that in terms of doing a huge overhaul to a previously beloved game, that's a risk. And they did it, and it paid off. And it's one of the best updates to a pre-existing game that I can think of in recent memory. So yeah, I think this is rightful winner here. Like, brilliant update.
Alrighty. Next one is best beat 'em up / fighting game, and the nominees are Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Absalom, Neon Infernal, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, and Maiden Cops. The winner is Marvel Cosmic Invasion with 9 points.
Interesting.
Yeah, this game was great. Like I like the character diversity, the jump in and jump out co-op. It's just been a fantastic game. And it's the type of game where someone's like, "Hey, do you want to play through the game tonight?" I'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely. I would jump on that. It's really, really fun."
Yeah.
The next category here is best sequel / prequel. And the nominees are Hades 2, Borderlands 4, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Tales of Iron 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Battlefield 6, and Ghost of Yotai. And tied with 5 points apiece, we have Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, and Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. I've only played... I'm trying to think where I even got with Death Stranding 2. I do think that it is a game that certainly enhances a lot of the things that came before it. I think the gameplay, I think the refinements that they've made certainly make it a better game. I just got kind of burdened with a lot of games getting released and codes, and I just haven't been able to get back.
Yeah, Jeff had about 20 codes to do, like for a while there. So yeah,
like the one thing that I really love about Age of Imprisonment is that this is the first game by AAA Game Studio after they because Omega Force didn't work on this, but it's still Koei Tecmo. They made like a new studio to kind of carry on with this, and they hit all of the performance targets that they needed to with this, because Age of Calamity ran very poorly on the Switch.
yes.
And they did such a good job with the performance of this game. It just made it incredibly fun. It's also the first of the Hyrule Warriors games that is canon to the Zelda universe. They did such a fantastic job. The multiplayer in this game is so good. Like, I'm good with going either way, even though I never really got...
Yeah.
I don't think I'm even halfway done Death Stranding.
So I guess for the sake of conversation, I should make my case for Death Stranding. And there's a couple of things. Firstly, although you haven't finished it, we have both played it. So I think that we have to take that into some consideration. But secondly, for me, as someone that really did actually like the first game, and you know, that was much more mixed in its reception, I was never sure that we needed a sequel to the first game. And I've never been more happy to be so wrong in my life, because this sequel, very similarly to Assassin's Creed 2 compared to Assassin's Creed 1, improves on every single aspect of the game.
Yeah.
In every single aspect of it, from presentation to writing to performances to gameplay to variation of gameplay, like everything you can think of is better. And I think that, you know, I'm someone who has played every Hideo Kojima game for the last 25 years, right? Plus. And I genuinely think that this is at least his best game in 20 years, if not longer. And I didn't think I would say that going in. So I kind of, yeah, I would put this up there as not only the best sequel game this year, but one of the best sequels ever made. So yeah, that would kind of be my argument for it, is I do think that this is... I think that when we one day rank the top 10 sequels ever made, which we probably will do here on the podcast at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if Death Stranding 2 is part of that conversation, whereas I'm not sure that Age of Imprisonment will be. Does that make sense?
I mean, it will be for me. Because, like, again, like Death Stranding 2 is good. Like, I'll tell you right now, it's not on my top 10.
Yeah.
Like, just because, like, again, I never beat it. But also, like, I'm not a fan of, what's his name?
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. I'm not a fan of Norman Reedus. Honestly, I if Death Stranding 2 took place as in a separate thing where Norman Reedus wasn't the main character, I'd probably be a little bit more engaged, because I'm not a fan of Norman Reedus at all. I think he's the worst part of the game. because I think every other character in that game is like tremendously better, especially performance wise. But yeah, like it's like the gameplay, like that game is very fun to play, but it's Hideo Kojima. Of course it's going to be fun to play.
Yeah.
And it's got like the crazy kind of things and stuff like that, and it's got the moments and stuff that are really really good. But like I'll give it to Death Stranding 2, because I think that for the next category I have way too good of an argument for another game not winning.
Okay.
So I'll give it to Death Stranding for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. So best sequel / prequel is Death Stranding 2 on the beach. All right, so the next category is best remake / remaster. And the nominees are Trails into the Sky, first chapter, Lunar Remastered Collection, Yuka Replayly, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D. And the winners is actually a tie right now, and that is between Trails in the Sky first chapter and Metal Gear Solid Delta. Now, I mentioned when we did our point ranking here that I had the perfect argument for this, for why Trails in the Sky first chapter needs to win. And that is because when you take a look at Metal Gear Solid Delta, fantastic game, but why is it a fantastic game?
Because it's a one-to-one exact remake of the thing that came before.
It uses the exact same audio. They never really added anything new.
It's literally what a remake it like. When you think of a quintessential remake, this is as close to a perfect remake as you could ever get, for better and worse.
Yeah. And so with Trails in the Sky first chapter, they took a game that was like a top-down 2D looking SNES RPG. They added voice acting to it. They had to recreate cities and towns that had never been featured in a Trails game and still make them feel like the cities that you explored in the first game.
Yes.
They added content. They've fixed some continuity errors and stuff like that. But again, like, they provided voice acting for the entire game when the original game had none. So in regards to remaking a game, they went and fixed, or not fixed. You can't fix a classic really in a lot of ways, but they enhanced every single aspect of that game with all new assets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas Metal Gear Solid, it could be a fantastic game, but it's a fantastic game because of what it was 20-some years ago.
And I actually do agree with that argument, even though I haven't played Trails. I agree with that argument in the sense that it's almost like the fact that the team at Konami wanted to make such a fateful remake has actually kind of gone against them a little bit, because it's like, yeah, you did an amazing job, but the reason the game is so good is because it was fantastic already. Yep. What you've done has brought it a fresh coat of paint, and it's brought it up to modern standards in some ways, but you haven't actually built on what was there before.
Yeah, like if they would have added like a bunch of new quests and like revamped even some aspects of the dialogue or certain things, like if they would have done a bit more, because like if you take a look at this game as being a test pilot for what that team could do with another Metal Gear, like a new Metal Gear, you haven't shown me that they can actually make a new Metal Gear. You've shown me that they're good at remaking existing Metal Gear games.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when I look back at like last year, right, and I compare Metal Gear to, let's say, Silent Hill 2 remake, which was made by Bloober Team, and what they did was really clever, because they did a really faithful remake, but there were things they added in there to sort of show, oh, we do have our own ideas about what we could do with this franchise, So I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there, and I concede to your brilliant argument.
Huzzah! Right. Wait, hold on. There we are. Sorry, I'm just editing the doc. And then
That's
I will
okay.
be uploading this to the website within the next week.
Nice.
Alrighty. So our next category is Best Studio Debut. And the nominees are Embark Studios with Arc Raiders, Sandfall Interactive with Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, and Ad Hoc Studio with Dispatch. And the winner with 10 points is Sandfall Interactive. This was a team that was told no from their higher overlords. They left those higher overlords and then not only created a good game, but they shook the industry to its core with releasing, quite frankly, one of the best games of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
possibly
can't,
the best debut game ever.
yeah, you honestly can't ask for like a better like dream scenario where they basically like quit their full-time jobs at major studios that told them no, and produced one of the best games of the year. And we saw that with Arc Raiders as well too. These were people that worked for those studios. They were told no, and then they went and created this studio and released the finals, which did fairly okay, and Arc Raiders, which has absolutely blown up, and is one of the most talked about games of the year.
Yeah.
All right. So our best family game. The nominees are Donkey Kong Bonanza, Split Fiction, Mario Kart World, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. And the winner with 10 points is Mario Kart World. You can kind of say that Mario Kart World is maybe not the Mario Kart game that it should have been to follow up 8. But it plays so incredibly well that it is just incredibly fun. It looks visually fantastic. It was a great launch title for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed playing it.
I really liked it. I mean, yes, I get why it maybe didn't live up to some people's expectations, and it was a little bit disappointing to like when you're coming off of Mario Kart 8, which became basically the best Mario Kart game ever made because it had so much content. I get it, but Mario Kart World is still a brilliant game, and I think what we have to remember is there are probably thousands, if not millions, of children where Mario Kart World will be their first Mario Kart game.
Yeah.
And so to them, this game is going to be just as good as 8 was to the last generation and all the other ones before that.
Yeah, I mean, and like the one thing that a lot of people kind of tear down Mario Kart World with is the fact that like 8 has like 56 tracks. Well, it didn't during the first 5 or 6 years of its existence.
When it first came out at launch, 8 was not the same game that it was so many years later.
No. And Mario Kart World, they could easily add onto this game if they wanted to. There's a lot that they can do. I mean, you can say that argument for pretty much any game, but Mario Kart World had a very difficult task ahead of measuring up to it, in the same way that when the next Smash Brothers comes out, they're going to be like, what do you mean there's not 90 characters in this game?
People forget that to get these amazing games that end up full of content, it actually takes a really long time. And there's never been a game, at least that I can think of, that has launched and off the bat had that much content. For example, in terms of characters in a fighting game, the WWE games are literally the only one that have so many playable characters at launch.
Yeah.
like no other game in the fighting realm or adjacent to it has ever reached that number of characters at launch.
No, but at the same time, you also have like 7 different Undertakers and 13 different John Cenas and 9 different Rocks.
Absolutely. They know how to pad out that number. Absolutely. But my point is more that, like you said, these games can be added to over time. And what Mario Kart World is right now isn't necessarily representative of what Mario Kart World will be in another 4 to 5 years' time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm happy it won.
All right. So our next category is Best New IP, and the nominees are Arc Raiders, Wu Chong Fallen Feathers, Maiden Cops, Kronos The New Dawn, Absalom, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and Dispatch. And the winner with 8 points is Arc Raiders. This game's great. Like me and Becky still play it like, pretty much every other day.
I wish I had more time to still play it. It's just I haven't had the time to jump back in for a while. But yeah, this is arguably one of the freshest multiplayer experiences that I've had in like the last decade. They seem to have nailed extraction shooters where everybody else failed, and I still can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is they've done that makes it feel better than all of those other options that we've had in the past.
No, it is just phenomenal. Like, and this is a game that's outperforming the biggest games of the year right now, like, or what should have been the biggest games of the year. Like, you can take Battlefield and Call of Duty's audience, like online player audience, and combine it, and you're probably just touching where Arc Raiders is right now. Like, it's phenomenal. And like, this isn't even the type of game that like Becky would play in a heartbeat, but she's still playing it. She's giving me gang signs down the hallway right now. Yeah. All right. She's posing with banter like a rap album right now. But yeah, like it is just one of those things where this game it's so much fun, especially when you find like those friendly players and stuff like that, where you're like, hey, how's you guys doing? Like, we're going to try and take down this like boss, whatever. And like, you end up, tag teaming with them and helping. And I mean, sure, you get all of those people.
Or when you get those crazy moments where Jeff leaves you behind.
Hey, you're the one who wanted to fight that thing and then not leave appropriately.
I was going to help him.
I mean, to be fair, that thing I almost killed. That thing I almost killed and got out. But the time that I remember most vividly is we were playing with our good friend Keith Mitchell from the Outer Haven.
Hey, I was like, run, go. And like, I shut the thing, whatever, and like, you guys both almost like rolled right into the door as it shut.
Yeah. It was hilarious. But it's like the moments you can get in Arc Raiders are not just viral for the sake of being viral. Yeah. They genuinely are amazing moments that can be thrilling and also like kill all motivation that you have for the game for a little while at the same time. But that's what makes it so special. When we jump in and we take down a leaper because he's trying to leap into the building and he can't get into the building and he like, that's funny. It's funny and it's fun. And there are some annoying things with people doing PvP and killing you when they don't really need to and they're not even intending to take your stuff. But there are also some amazing moments where you run into really nice people that are just like, hey, do you need anything?
Yeah. Or you get that guy that was like opening up a shop and he's like, do you have lemons? Oh, here's your lemons.
Yeah, so I think it's great. And it's a well-deserved winner of any award in my book.
Yeah. Well, we probably will be looking at that game for our next category next year for sure. Our next category is Best Ongoing Game, and the nominees are Arc Raiders, Marvel Rivals, Helldivers 2, Fortnite, Fragpunk, and No Man's Sky. And the winner with 10 points is Marvel Rivals. Like a year later, I'm still playing this game as often as I possibly can. Like, I'm probably going to play about 2 or 3 rounds today, just to kind of take advantage of all the Christmas stuff and still play. And they added Rogue. Although her player icon is so weird, it took me like honestly 2 minutes just to find Rogue. But no, it's the amount of content that they've added to this game over the past year has been staggering. Like, they've pretty much added a character like almost every like 2 to 3 months.
Yes. Yeah.
They've really given. I mean, sure, people are going to claim that like, oh, the player base has dwindled a little bit. I'm like, yeah, sure, that's kind of every game. I mean, Arc Raiders is going to suffer the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm still finding matches when I need to, and still absolutely having a blast with that game.
I'll give you an even better example of that. You look at something like Fortnite, and we know that Fortnite's numbers at certain points through the year, Fortnite's numbers kind of clapped off a cliff for a while.
Yeah.
Comparatively to when their numbers are at their peak, Fortnite has these real peaks and troughs of player numbers, and I think that Marvel Rivals is the same. Like when they add a new character, it brings people back, and some of those people only play for a couple of days and then they'll leave the game again. But there are people still consistently playing the game all of the time, and I think that when you think about best ongoing game, you have to take a few things into account. One is, does the game still have an audience big enough to support the amount of people that actually want to play it? And the answer is yes to that question. And then two is, are they consistently adding or updating the game in ways that are bringing people back or keeping people engaged? And the answer to that is also yes. And therefore, yeah, I think it's a worthy winner this year. And I think it's interesting that we did nominate Arc Raiders, even though Arc Raiders only came out this year. But that kind of gives you a good sign of how good Arc Raiders is as a live service game.
Like Arc Raiders hasn't been around long enough, I think, for it to really kind of win that best ongoing, because it needs to have that length of time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would just be kind of like best multiplayer kind of thing.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see if we still nominate Arc Raiders again next year, because I would suspect that if we are still nominating Arc Raiders next year, it's very likely to win next year, I would imagine.
Yeah, especially if they add a lot of content. Like they just added the goalie set, so now you can dress up as a hockey player.
Yeah. They've got some good sets of armor in there, I'll give them that. But yes, well done to Marvel Rivals.
Okay, so now we are going to go to Best Spin-Off. And this one's pretty light. So the nominees are Elden Ring Night Rain and First Berserker Kazan. And the winner with 10 points is First Berserker Kazan. So again, this is a spin-off of Dungeon Fighter Online. And it's kind of that team's kind of first Souls-like to kind of jump in, and they nailed it. The game is so fun. Like it is one of my favorite games probably ever. It is just incredibly fun to play. But yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So Best Surprise of the Year. And the nominees are Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Ball Pit, Arc Raiders, and Absalom. And the winner is, with 10 points, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Again, this is a game that kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, it looked good off trailers, but, there's a lot of games look good off trailers.
And then they don't come together in the end product.
Yeah, like Metroid Prime 4. Fantastic trailer. Pretty game. All right, now we're going to go to Best Multiplayer. And the nominees are Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Arc Raiders, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, Absalom, Borderlands 4, Battlefield 6, and Elden Ring Night Rain. And the winner is, with 10 points, Arc Raiders. Again, this game is so much fun to play online. Like, you just create these moments. And, yeah, it is just unbelievably fun to play.
Absolutely. And the other thing I would say that kind of pushes it up as an even better multiplayer game is you're able to jump in for one round and feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah,
so
like even if you die, you get like progression towards shit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Too.
So even if you're someone that, we know a lot of gamers these days with families, maybe you only get an hour to play in the evening, but you can get 2 good rounds of Arc Raiders in an hour, potentially more than that, and you will feel like you've progressed in some way. And I think that that's something that other multiplayer games can sometimes struggle with, where they feel very, very grindy and like you haven't really done anything. I have never played Arc Raiders and felt like I haven't progressed in some way. There's
Yeah.
always been some form of progression. So that for me is another reason that it gets best multiplayer game this year.
Alrighty. Our next category, as we're starting to wind down the categories, is Best Podcast Game. The nominees are Borderlands 4, 33 Immortals, Ball Pit, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Keeper, Blueprints, and Monsters Are Coming Rock and Road. The winner is Ball Pit. Yeah, this is the kind of game, but even though the music's amazing and the sound effects and stuff are great, you can toss on a podcast and you never feel like you're really missing out on much. And
Completely agree.
it's incredibly fun to play. Like it's such a good game.
Yes. And you will get addicted to it.
Oh yeah, it is phenomenal. All right, so now we're going to Best Female Performance. And the nominees are Jennifer English for Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Leah Seydoux for Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Adrienne Ray for South of Midnight, Masumi Tsunada for Assassin's Creed Shadows, Eldis Hamilton for Echoes of the End, Laura Bailey for Dispatch, and Kirsty Ryder for Claire Obscure 33. And the winner is Jennifer English, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Mael was fantastic. And, you know, this is the same actress that played Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3. So if you ever watch her and her partner, they stream games. Like they did a co-op stream for Baldur's Gate 3. And she is such an absolute talent. Like she is like just anytime you see her, she's just pure positivity. She is such a warm presence, and she
in
brings
an
that to her
infectious way as well. Like she's infectiously positive, you know.
Yeah,
so it's
and like Mayal is such a compelling character as well too, because there's so much depth to her. Some that you probably even haven't even got to yet. I'm not too sure where you're at right now.
Well, actually, I can tell you this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I'll just put it this way: I am now on the final boss fight of the game.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, like that game is unbelievably good, and she just really heightens that as well.
Yeah.
All right, and she won with 10 points. All right, so best male performance, and that is Charlie Cox in Claire Expedition 33, Tom McKay, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Johnny Santiago, Mafia: The Old Country, Ben Starr, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Aaron Paul, Dispatch, and Troy Baker and Norman Reedus for Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. And the winner with 10 points is Charlie Cox as Gustav in Expedition 33.
First ever performance in a video game, and absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, like he did such a good job with that game. The amount of content and time that he was kind of given in that game to kind of really flesh out Gustav did such a good job, and his performances with like Mayel and Luna. Or Lune, just absolutely mind-blowing. Like such a good performance.
Yeah. He like, I have to just say, he had this thing with his performance where even in just one or two words, he could say them in a way that actually said so much. Yeah. Something that was beyond the words. And I think you could tell, like, sometimes we see actors come in from other forms of media and kind of phone in these video game performances because video games don't really matter. It felt like he actually gave his all here, and it felt like you could tell his experience as an actor of being able to add so much emotion even with little words. And we won't spoil anything that happens with his character, but I will say that he carries some of the most emotional scenes in the video game, and he does it expertly. He is so fantastic, and I hope firstly that he finally gets to play the game himself, because he still hasn't played it yet. Someone needs to send this guy a PS5 and send him the game or something so that he can play. But secondly, I hope that we get to see Charlie Cox in more video games in the future, because he's great. Great.
Alrighty. Best standout character. We have our nominees in Gustav, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, The Traveler in Chronos, The New Dawn, Naue in Assassin's Creed Shadows, Gemma, Monster Hunter Wilds, Mael, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. What are you doing, Banter?
Banter's moving the camera.
You're pushing the little ottoman away. Okay.
You can't help it.
All right. Oh, is that what you want? Oh, okay. All right. We'll continue. Gemma, Monster Hunter Worlds Wild, Banter. You happy now? You're a nomination. Yeah.
He wanted to be nominated for the award. Everybody.
All right. Mael, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Robert Robertson in Dispatch, Higgs, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, and Invisigal, Dispatch. And the winner is, with no surprise whatsoever, Gustav, Expedition 33. So
one of the best characters that I can remember in a very long time.
Yes, Banter, you won. Banter won.
Banter is Gustav.
Yeah, 10 votes. Yeah, you got it. You won.
Which means Banter must also be Charlie Cox.
Are you? Are you Charlie Cox? Are you Daredevil? I've never seen you and Daredevil in the same room. All right. Best accessibility, and the nominees are Absalom, Assassin's Creed Shadows, South of Midnight, Doom: The Dark Ages, EA FC26, Keeper, and F1 2025. And the winner is Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Brilliant accessibility in the game. That's all I can say. Ubisoft have been one of the front runners for accessibility in games for the last sort of 5 or 6 years now, and they've continued that trend with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So well done to them.
All right. Best early access game. I actually forgot one game that I was going to add in here, but it wouldn't have won anyway. It's hard to say. The nominees are 33 Immortals, Grounded 2, Skate, and The Last Caretaker. The game that I forgot to add on here was Towerborn.
Oh, God. How did I forget to add that as well?
What would you have placed Towerborn?
It probably would have been my 4 points, and I would have knocked everything else down.
Yeah. So, I honestly think that this probably would have won.
Well, what do we feel then?
We do an audible because, right now the winner is Grounded 2 with 9 points, which means that it was number 1 for someone and it was number 2 for someone else. It was number 2 for me. But Towerborn would have been my number 2 with 33 Immortals being number 1. So Towerborn would have scored a 4 for me.
And Towerborn would have been my number 2, so it would have scored 4 for me.
Yeah. So we can change that then in our Towerborn.
Here we go. First time ever live audible here on the podcast for our end of year awards.
Grounded then would have had 3 for me and
5. So it would have been on 8. So there then would have been a discussion between Towerborn and Grounded. That's basically where we are now.
Yeah, and Towerborn probably would have won.
Yeah, I agree. All
right, so Towerborn sneaks in at the last second. Hold on, I'm just going to double check here.
You can double check, but what I'll say in the meantime is I will make my case for Towerborn, right?
April 29th.
Nice. And my case for Towerborn is that Grounded 2 is brilliant, but it's just a bigger version of Grounded.
Yeah.
Whereas
Towerborn
is something
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, it has a really, really good beat 'em up feel to it. Like combat feels really nice, progression feels good. The way you move around the environment's really nice. I do wish the jump in and jump out multiplayer was a little better.
Yes.
But still, like it is incredibly fun to play. It's got a good premise. It's got
I have no idea how I forgot about this video game when making our list.
Yeah, no, I just like, well, the thing about it is I was looking under like early access games in Google, and it's like, tons of games have had early access, and they're mentioning like big AAA releases. And I'm like,
it's one of those things where this kind of proves that if you're a game that releases earlier in the year, you've actually got less chance of being in people's minds when award season comes. Because, this was April, I believe you just said, and we both forgot about it. And it wasn't because we didn't like the game. Like, as we've just seen, it would have ranked individually as second on our list for this category. Like, and it has gone on to win it, I would say. And yet until we just had that discussion, we both forgot about it. So, what a wonder that is. But there you go. First time ever live audible for award giving here on the Gaming Mix podcast for Analog Stick Gaming.
Actually, what would have been your number one?
Here. What did I have? What did I have?
Oh wait, you would have had. Yeah, it would have been 5 and 3.
Yeah,
that's right. So 8. Yeah, never mind. All right. Okay. All right. So our next category is the one that I've added this morning because I completely forgot to add it when we were doing our stuff before, and that is best streamer / content creator. Now, I'll add my nominees.
Okay.
And then we'll see if you have anybody to add as well too. So my nominees is the Burnt Peanut, Maximilian Dude, and Andy Cortez.
Okay. So I would have had all three of those. However, I would have actually had someone above Andy Cortez in my ranking, and that is Snowbike Mike. And the reason I have Snowbike Mike, just to give him a bit of a shout out, is not only has that guy created a brilliant content with Kind of Funny this year. If you didn't see it, he literally did a marathon of walking while and the team were playing Death Stranding 2 at the same time. So he was walking while they were playing the game, which was quite impressive. And then I've been watching his streams and his videos of him playing Clair Obscure, and he's been playing other games recently. He's just a really fun content creator who loves video games and loves to interact with his community. And whether you watch Kind of Funny or not, I really think that you can get enjoyment out of his solo content. So I really would recommend him. But quite frankly, Burnt Peanut has to win this. Every single clip I see of this guy is hilarious.
Yeah, he is shaking up the industry. I mean, he's playing with some of the absolute top guys, and he's still the most popular guy in the room. He just hit 1 million subs on YouTube. Yeah. He has had the type of growth that streamers think they're going to have. They think they're going to blow up overnight, and no, he's absolutely done it. He is so absolutely entertaining, and it is phenomenal to see what he's been able to do over the past year. Perchance, for maybe.
But it's just I'll never forget, right? The first clip that I ever, because I do watch his streams now, but the first clip that I ever saw of him was on the Arc Raiders Funny Moments video.
Yeah, that's the same thing
And it's you just see that first clip and he's quickly jump off the roof.
Yeah, and he
like,
goes off the roof and he's like flying. It's like, you see that? It's like, yeah,
what are you doing?
Gandalf wizard shit.
It's like, honestly, he is. He's constantly funny, but what I would say is he actually comes across like a really down to earth guy as well.
Yeah.
You know, and we would we've said it before, but we genuinely would love to speak to him. Like, I have so many things I'd love to ask him about content creation and his approach and how he feels about blowing up, because look, he had somewhat of an audience before due to Escape from Tarkov and
Yeah, a little
a
bit.
few other things that he would play, but it's almost like Arc Raiders came out and he was blowing up just as quick as the game was blowing up. Like,
No,
it's-
if you watch a lot of like the history of his channel and stuff, like he was making like Tarkov like guides and getting 2 or 3 views
Yeah.
on those videos, and then like he started playing with like a bunch of people on like Tarkov and started to blow up a little bit there, but it wasn't
Yeah.
until till Arc Raiders came around where he was making, he's doing like 15,000 people on his stream and stuff like that, but now he's doing like 60,000-70,000 every time he streams. Like it's absolutely, and that's just on Twitch, and then on YouTube there's usually just as much, so people are tuning in, like they're staying, and they're entertained.
And people are now watching him play other games. Like, not too long ago, I watched one of his sponsored streams for Dying Light the Beast, you know? And even in that, which is a single player / co-op game, but not a multiplayer game, he was still hilarious while playing that video game. So it was like, the guy is just infectiously funny. And
well, have you seen the video of where like Genji is playing, it's showing her feed, whatever, and you just see his mouth move, and there's like a Big Mac that gets shoved into,
and he chokes on the Big Mac.
Yeah,
yeah, and even that, as much as it shouldn't be funny, he even managed to make choking on a Big Mac funny.
Like it's just so funny just seeing like little mouth and like the Big Mac go in. It's great because like, it's so funny.
It is. So congratulations,
right.
Burnt Peanut. Shout out to Maximilian Dude as well, who we didn't speak about much, but he continues to be one of the best content creators in the industry, period. Like, whatever you think of the guy, and, for me, the thing I love most about Maximilian Dude is his genuine passion and reactions for the things that he deeply cares about, from fighting games to Final Fantasy stuff.
Thousands of dollars on like modding Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Infinite.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Our last 2 categories are most disappointing game and worst game of the year. All right. So, most disappointing game is, the nominees are Pokemon Legends AZ, Sacred 2 Fallen Angel Remastered, Chained Echoes Ashes of Elrond DLC, Doom the Dark Ages, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Mind's Eye, The Outer World 2, and Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And this is a tie between Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Mind's Eye. And the only reason that I would really give it to Metroid Prime 4 is this game was a disappointment, but Mind's Eye, I don't think there was enough hype behind it to think it was going to be amazing.
I mean, that's a fair argument. I think that the one kind of counter I would make is that Mind's Eye was a game with a lot of potential where it hasn't delivered on it, either because of bugs and other things or just because it's not a fully fleshed out game, right? But because you can see the potential there, it makes it disappointing.
Yeah.
especially when you think about the fact that it comes from a team of former Rockstar developers and the pedigree that that brings with it, especially with the studio head there being one of the kind of head producers of the GTA and Red Dead franchises over many, many years. Whereas I think that Metroid Prime 4, while it might be disappointing in regards to being a Metroid game, it's still, I would imagine, it's still a fully playable and
Yeah, I don't know
decent game.
if technical banter. You're not nominated for this award.
Banter is not nominated for this one. He's trying
You're
to
not
be.
nominated for this award. Stop pushing the camera away. See, like the thing with Metroid though is you've got like almost 18 years of waiting for this game.
Good point. Good
And
point.
so like again, like I don't think like if I was constantly like falling through the floor in this game, it wouldn't have changed my opinion on it because the
Yeah.
game itself, even though it's not broken, is massively disappointed. And I think
Yeah.
a functional game that is bad is more disappointing than a bad game that's broken.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I mean, remember that you can technically use your powers of winning our Game Awards predictions to give this one to Metroid Prime if you're feeling it. I would say though, based on your argument and our discussion here, you have convinced me as someone who hasn't played Metroid Prime 4. You have convinced me that it's the more disappointing game of the two because of the level of expectation and
And the
the
fact that they
all-round wait for this game going in.
and the fact that they canceled the development on the first Metroid Prime 4 and
Yeah.
then started up again with Retro. And like I don't know what they were making, but there's so many parts of this game that are at odds with each other.
No.
Yes, definitely.
Banter, stop it. Go lay down.
Banter is frustrated
Go down.
because he has not won all the awards in
Yeah.
our Analog Stick Gaming Awards this year.
There's no best corgi award. I'm so sorry. There's no best corgi. No. Alrighty. Let's see here. Let me edit this little fun thing. All right. All right. And our last award is Worst Game of the Year. And the nominees are Chicken Hair, Treasure of Spiking Beard, and Mind's Eye. Now, I showed you footage of.
So chicken. So I can't bring it up right now, but what I would say is, I was so concrete in my mind that Mind's Eye was the worst video game released this year, right? Just because of its technical failures. But then you show me Chicken Hair, and it looks like a game that came out 25 years ago, and doesn't run as well as any of those video games either.
It was awful. Like, and I beat that game too. Like, you know, like it was painfully bad.
Yeah. So I
especially
am
on the
more
Switch.
than happy. I'm more than happy to go with Chicken Hair for this one.
Mind's Eye dodges it again.
Yeah.
All right.
Now we're on to the big one, right?
Okay. So, all right. So we'll do this the same way. Now, is it still like a 10 points for first, 9
Yeah,
points?
so the way that I've done it is my first placed game on my ranking has been given 10 points. My 10th placed game gets 1 point, and so on in between. What I would say as well is any games that we've previously spoken about in the course of our awards show here, we'll probably gloss over slightly, just because otherwise we'll be here all day. But I'll begin with my number 10, my 10th placed game of the year, which is Mafia: The Old Country.
All right, so hold on. Oh, it's weird because like how I have mine placed, mine goes 1 to 10, and then yours on this sheet goes 10 to 1. All right, so Mafia: The Old
Yes, getting 1 point from me, that is. And I really like Mafia. Don't get me wrong, it's not the perfect game, and I think that Mafia the Old Country maybe didn't deliver on what some people wanted out of a Mafia game. But I actually applaud the team for going back to basics, making a much more linear focused video game that was all about telling a good mafia gangster story. And they did that. They did that very, very well. There's some good performances in this game. There's good writing in this game. The gameplay is good for what it is, but, maybe doesn't have enough variation. For example, one of the core elements of gameplay here is knife fighting because it's based in Sicily in a time when knife fighting was a big thing. And the knife fighting is cool, but after you've done it the first couple of times, it doesn't really get any deeper than that. And for that to be one of your main mechanics, you want it to be something that's getting deeper the more and more you play of the game. That isn't really the case here, but if you're playing for a good single-player story-driven game, Mafia the Old Country is definitely one that I still recommend, and that's why it gets number 10 on my list here. Place 10, 1 point from me. What about you,
right.
Jeff? What is your number 10 game?
My number 10 game is Chronos: The New Dawn. This game is fun. This was an original game from Bloober Team. They followed up the Silent Hill 2 remake with this very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it played extremely fun. I liked some of the intrigue behind the story and kind of like how the game would kind of just respond to it and play around it. It played extremely well. It was just a very solid game.
The only bit Jeff didn't like is the boss fight he got stuck on for ages.
Oh god, that last fight, it just goes on for fucking forever.
Yeah, but I, because we both reviewed this. You reviewed it for us here at Analog Stick Gaming. I reviewed it over on the Outer Haven. And one of the things I said in my review is this is Bloober Team's best original IP video game so far, because I think their best video game is Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Yeah.
But to then follow it up with a brand new original IP that takes some clear inspirations from something like Dead Space, but still does enough that makes it its own thing, I think is brilliant. And I think, like you said, the speed at which they were able to actually follow up Silent Hill 2 Remake with this game like a year later is incredible. And they really should be praised because I think there's a lot of potential for a good franchise here going forward. So now I'll go on to my number 9 game of the year, and this one at one point this year was much higher in my list, but as I kind of revisited some things towards the end of the year and finished other things off, my list changed a lot in the last few weeks. And it's Metal Gear Solid Delta is my 9th placed game, getting 2 points from me. And what can I say more than, this is a 1-to-1 remake of one of my favorite games of all time. It was unlikely, and unless they absolutely ballsed it up, this game was unlikely to not be in my top 10 this year because, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, I would argue, is probably the best all-round game in that franchise. And this is, if you want a 1-to-1 remake for your video games, this is arguably the best remake ever made in that regard, because they've been extremely faithful to the game. There are quality of life improvements and changes. They use the original voice acting, though, which some people may or may not like, but they do give you a new camera for gameplay, which does change the way that you play the game. and they changed the way that some of the systems work and things like that. But it's still, if you've never played it, this is now the best way to play the video game, in my opinion. And it really does scratch that Metal Gear Solid itch with us not having had a Metal Gear Solid game in something like 10 years now. So I really, really did enjoy it, and I really do recommend it to people. It's my number 9th game, getting 2 points this year. What about you, Jeff? What do you have at number 9 this year?
Let's take a look here. Monster Hunter Wilds. It's a fantastic game. Like I don't think it's as good as like Monster Hunter World. But Wilds does a remarkable job at bringing that game to the RE engine, and does a remarkable job with it. It was super fun to play. I think the monster stuff is really, really good. Like the giant kind of sprawling environments are always fantastic. Like it's an absolutely solid game. There's nothing really terribly wrong with it. I know a lot of people thought it was like a little too easy, but they've added a lot of monsters and some difficulty changes that have kind of like revamped that game a bit. They've done a lot of like crossover stuff, and I know they're going to continue to support it for quite some time.
Yes. And they've just done some massive performance patches as well, because I haven't played the game as much as I would like to due to bad performance on PC, but they do seem to be finally addressing that stuff, and they've got a couple more big patches coming out for the game early next year. So look out for those, and this probably is a very good time to jump into the game, actually. So yeah, it's good that you've got it on your list. The next one is another game that was originally much higher for me, and at one point this year, it was actually in my top 3 games of the year, but is now down in number 8, and that is Elden Ring Night Reign. Getting 3 points for me. And what can I say about Elden Ring Night Reign? It's a Souls-like cross with a roguelike game. It's the best co-op in a Souls-like game that I've played. It's very, very fun. But my God, the only criticism I would really have of this game is they need to have crossplay. This is a multiplayer-focused game in 2025, and they do not have crossplay. That's a huge, huge mistake. Like, it really, really is. There's a reason Jeff hasn't finished the game. So yeah. But if you're up for a Souls-like / roguelike co-op game, this is one of the best, if not the best, that you can play this year. So that's why it gets my number 8 spot. What about you, Jeff? What have you got in number 8 this year?
Number 8, I've got Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Assassin's Creed Shadows is fantastic. Like everything that they kind of wanted to do with that game, I think they expertly nailed. I mean, the new DLC kind of expands off the story.
And they also, the other thing I was going to say is they also have taken on the feedback and added to the game in patches to improve the game even further. So, good on them. Good on them. We're now on number 7. So getting 4 points from me, being my 7th best game this year, is Arc Raiders. We spoke about Arc Raiders before. I do think it's the best multiplayer game this year. I think it's the best extraction shooter that I've played to date. I have a couple of problems with the PvP elements of the game, and I do think we could do it. It would be amazing if they added a PvE only option in some regard. I would really love them to add that. But yeah, I would have no problem recommending Arc Raiders to anyone who likes multiplayer shooter games. It's brilliant, and I would imagine it's probably on Jeff's list as well.
Oh, yeah.
But Jeff, what do you have at number 7 this year, getting 4 points from you?
Number 7 is Tales of Iron 2.
Nice.
It's such a fun game. I played a little bit of the first one. The second one kind of improves upon a lot of things, but basically you're like a rat. You're kind of like, I think like if I remember correctly, you're like Left 4 Dead, and you kind of team up with a bunch of allies to then kind of take back kind of like the kingdom that was kind of taken from you, and like the combat feels really good. The visuals look fantastic. Like the game is like a lot of fun to play. I really enjoyed this game. It kind of came out of nowhere, and we got review code for the second and the first game, and it was just absolutely fun. And if you're looking for, like, if you look at a trailer and you're like, yeah, that actually looks fun, it is fun. It is every bit as good as you want that trailer to be.
Good. I do have the game. I was also given code, but unfortunately I never found the time to play it. But maybe based on the fact that it's actually in your top 10, I will take some time to play it and see what I think. But now we're on to number 6, so we're almost into the business end of things here. But number 6 for me this year is a game that has never really threatened to be my game of the year, but is just consistent with the rest of the franchise, and I absolutely loved it for doing something slightly different as well. And that is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which is getting 5 points from me this year, being my 6th best game of the year. And yeah, if you like the Like a Dragon video games, this one is a spin-off. It does return to action-based gameplay rather than turn-based. But you get to play as Goro Majima, and what more do you want? You're Goro Majima who has lost his memory and becomes a pirate. This is basically the closest we've ever come to a Black Flag style game in any other video game since then. And I really, really would recommend it if you're a fan of the Like a Dragon / Yakuza series. For sure, this is one of the must-play ones. So yeah, Jeff, what about your number 6 game this year, getting 5 points from you?
That is Metal Eden.
Nice.
Metal Eden was fun. Like, honestly, if you're looking for like a follow-up to like a Doom style, Doom 2016 style shooter and stuff like that, yeah. Metal Eden checks all the boxes. It plays extremely good. It looks extremely good. The music's really good. Visually, like, everything about that game is just absolutely top notch. It plays so fun. It is exactly what you want from it. I loved playing this game. Like, absolutely loved playing it. And the bosses were super fun. The level design was really nice. It has almost this like kind of Metroid quality as well too, where you can kind of turn into a ball and run around. But yeah. Well,
now we're into the top 5, and my 5th placed game of the year is a game that I love and was probably it was close to the top of my list at one point, but I had it at number 1. No, I actually didn't. It was the closest it ever got was number 2 for me, this game, right? And it's now down at number 5, and I'll explain why as we go forward. But my 5th best game of the year, getting 6 points from me, is a game Jeff already mentioned, Assassin's Creed Shadows. And basically, I echo everything that Jeff said. I think they nailed exactly what they wanted to with this video game. They've improved upon it based on feedback. And I really, really recommend it. So, yeah, that one's getting 6 points from me, being my 5th best game of the year. But what is your number 5, Jeff?
Ball Pit.
Nice.
Like, we've talked about it kind of already. But yeah, it's just really fun. It's like this like kind of Arkanoid kind of thing where like you are a character on the screen. You're basically shooting balls all over the place and ricocheting them, and they're popping off and hitting the wall and hitting enemies, and then you get modifiers and amplifiers and enhancements that kind of change how that gameplay works, and then those things can evolve and mutate together as well, and it just creates this experience that is just a visual feast. Like when you play like Vampire Survivors and you have like everything working in unison and it's just this visual spectacle, that's what this game does. It offers
absolutely. Absolutely. So now, at least for me, we are at the business end of things, because there is no joke when I say to you that every single one of my top 4 games has been my number 1 game at some point, and every single one of them has actually been my number 1 game within the last 2 weeks. Like, that's how hard I found it to separate these top 4 games from me. And you know, we'll get on to why as I explain them. But my 4th placed game of the year, receiving 7 points, is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I think is the best way.
Is that your number 5?
No, that's my number 4. Assassin's Creed Shadows was my 5.
Oh, okay. I didn't write it down here. Assassins. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, number 4, getting 7 points, is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And what can I say about it more than it's basically a heavily simulation-based RPG set in the medieval times in Europe. And it is a sequel, but it's a sequel that vastly improves on the first game in every single way. And the only real issue that I can find with the entire game, but your mileage will vary on it depending on your own personal experience, is the combat. And I think some people will find it too difficult, some people will find it too clunky. But what I love about Kingdom Come Deliverance is you can genuinely live in this world, because the world doesn't revolve around you. You can pick up a quest in this game and they tell you, right, Henry, we've got to go, right? And if you don't go with them when they say, and you come back the next day, they're already gone, and they've gone on that quest without you. Like, they aren't waiting for you. This world does not wait for you. These NPCs have a schedule. They move around. They have lives to live. And if you take a quest, you better be ready to deal with it at that time. Like, this is not an RPG where it's about having your cake and eating it. It's an RPG where it's actually about role-playing and becoming what you want to become. And it does take a lot of cues from things like Skyrim, where the way you level up in this game is the more that you do something, you level up that certain thing, and you then get skills to enhance that area. I've seen people play this game and literally play as potion sellers, and they don't engage in combat, and all they do is do alchemy. They go around picking flowers, they make potions, sell them, make loads of money, and then basically upgrade their speech and use their money and speech powers to get through essentially the entire game. Like it's a really, really in-depth RPG that I think, in terms of a Western style RPG, is arguably the best we've seen since Witcher 3, I would argue. And I really, really recommend it to people. I will concede that because it's so heavily simulation based, it's not going to be to everybody's tastes. Like, you have to
I just didn't like the combat.
You have to eat, you have to wash, and for example, you have to sleep as well. But you could turn up at an inn, and if you haven't washed, they're going to be like, no, you smell, you can't stay here. And they're literally not going to let you stay there. If you commit crimes in the game, you'll get caught. You'll get taken to you'll get taken to a cell, you get locked up. Then if you get caught doing more crimes in the future, you'll get branded. And then eventually, if you commit even more crimes, eventually you're going to be hung. Like, so this is genuinely one of the best role-playing games I've ever played. And yeah, it's only my fourth placed game, but this could easily be my number one. Like, if I had made this list on another day, this would have been my number one. So Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, fourth best game of the year, getting 7 points from me. But Jeff, what do you have at your number 4?
Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I really enjoyed this game. I mean, I love Age of Calamity. These two are my favorite Zelda games on the Switch. And like it just plays so much fun. Multiplayer was great on it as well. Performance is great, but there's just some like really, really cool moments when you're doing like team up attacks with other characters. The story is really good. I mean, we know the story. We know where it starts. We know where it ends. You know, and we know lots of in betweens because we've seen the flashbacks, you know, in that game, and it just plays just extremely well. Like it looks great. It runs great. I mean, there's issues with it for sure, but like I really enjoyed playing as this, and like the range of characters are really good. I think the only like kind of fault that the game has really is there's a bunch of characters that are in the game that feel like they're just there to pad the character amount. But the characters that are there are like really, really, really good. And I mean, again, it's characters that we know. Like we knew them in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes, yeah, of course.
And they just do a really good job at like giving a lot of those characters depth and like reasons why certain things were not spoken of in Tears of the Kingdom. Like they do a good job at kind of pushing through like all of that stuff, and it just makes for an incredibly amazing game.
Good. I'm glad that's the case. And I hope that I do get time to play it one day. Hopefully. But now we're into the top 3, and I have to say I believe I'm the only one with this game on my list. But I think it's because Jeff hasn't finished it yet, and that is Dispatch is at my number 3 this year, getting 8 points from me. And if you haven't played or seen Dispatch, it's a Telltale style video game where you're basically choosing your own adventure, making dialogue choices and things like that to craft the story that you want, right? What makes Dispatch a little different is you're playing as a superhero whose suit has been damaged, so he is basically recruited to work at this superhero dispatch network. So basically, think of it as like an emergency services call center, but for superheroes. And you take on the task of mentoring this team called the Z Team, who are all former criminal sort of supervillains, and they're trying to turn their lives around. And it's just very well written. It's funny. It's got brilliant performances. Your choices actually matter and make potentially significant differences to the story. It's 8 episodes, and each episode averages about an hour. Like I finished this game in exactly 8 hours. And they did initially release it episodically, but I didn't play it until all the episodes were out. And I must say, like, every episode that I finished, I was like, no, I want to start the next one now. And I said it when I spoke about the game on podcast previously, but I would watch a TV show set in this universe with these characters. I would watch a movie. I would play another. Like, I want season 2 of Dispatch now, And it's a brilliant game, and I would actually say it's the best Telltale game that I've ever played. And there is a reason for that. It's developed by Ad Hoc Studio, who is made up of former Telltale staff combined with some former Ubisoft staff. And they clearly believed in this game because they almost went out of business making this game because of the pandemic and things like that. And I'm hoping that Jeff does finish it one day because I
One
think
day.
he'll really enjoy it. He will really enjoy it
One day.
as he plays with banter there. But yeah,
Okay.
my third place game this year, getting 8 points, is Dispatch. Now, Jeff, we're into your top 3. So what do you have at number 3 this year?
Number 3, I have Arc Raiders.
Nice.
And again, we've talked to death on Arc Raiders already, but yeah, no, it's stupid fun. I still love playing it.
Fantastic. Well, straight on to number 2 from me then, and is a game that has a 2 in the name, and that is Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, which gets 9 points from me. Until something, this was my number 1. This was my number 1 game for, as much as I say that any of my top 4/5 could have been my number 1 this year, Death Stranding 2 was my number 1 for the longest time. And it was actually my number 1. So if you don't know, I also contribute over on the Outer Haven. And we did our Game of the Year nominations about 4 weeks ago. So we did them quite a bit earlier than we did here. And when I did the nominations there, Death Stranding 2 was my number 1 game over at the Outer Haven. Why will become clear when I say what my number 1 is. But yeah, Death Stranding 2, like I said earlier, I genuinely think this is Kojima's best game in 2 decades. It's one of the best sequels that I can remember, having vastly improved in every single aspect of the video game. And it's the sequel that I never thought we needed. So that's why it ranks so highly for me, getting 9 points. Now, Jeff, what do you have at number 2 this year?
Number 2, I've got First Berserker Kazan.
Wow.
And again,
Wow.
I've talked to death about this game so far on the stream, whatever. But no, it's just incredibly fun to play. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and when I've got the time, I want to go through it again as the female Kazan.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just incredibly fun. I really enjoyed it, and the amount of costumes and outfits and stuff that are in this game, even though there's just like 3 weapons, it just feels like there's so much variety to kind of go through with this game.
Yeah.
And yeah, visually it looks great, and audio wise and everything. Like it's like one of the best Souls likes out there. It's absolutely just so much fun.
Yeah. Well, now on to perhaps the most obvious number 1 of all time. And this is a game that I technically haven't finished yet, although I'm very, very close to the end. And that is Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is my game of the year this year. It's absolutely outstanding across all fields, and I would genuinely recommend it to anybody. I think there are aspects here that anyone will enjoy. If you're more of a story gamer, you can absolutely mainline this video game and have a lot of fun with it. If you're someone who likes a deep RPG, there's that for you. If you care about art and visuals and audio design and all those different kinds of things, it nails all of those areas as well. But the main thing for me is this game is full of humanity and heart in a way that I never really expected. And like Jeff said earlier, you get so captured in that first hour to 2 hours of the game that it doesn't really let you go. And I took a while to come back to it because we were so busy this year and because my PC died for a while. But let me tell you, there isn't a week that went by that I didn't think about playing this video game. Like I said, I've played it over the last three to 4 weeks. I kind of went back and played much more of it. And this game goes places that I will not spoil, but I will just say it's amazing the twists and turns they put in here while having the consistency of writing they have where everything actually makes sense and you understand everybody's motivations. And it's one of the best stories that I've ever played through in a video game. I really, really highly recommend it, and I could speak about it all day, but we don't have all day here. So, Jeff, I'm going to ask you, what is your number one video game this year?
Mind's Eye. No, it is Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Nice,
nice. And it's actually, this is only the third game that we share on our top 10s list. For these.
Yeah, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the third game that we share.
Arc Raiders is the only thing that's even close at 15 points. Claire Obscure sits with 20. Like Claire Obscure is just, it's fantastic. It's everything you want in video games, especially for like the single player aspect of it. And it is just like, it's a masterclass of like, I mean, they kind of joke about it at the Game Awards, but they're not joking about it. And that is the simple fact that like they were learning how to make video games when they were making this game. There were YouTube tutorials that contributed to this game being made. Yeah. And that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. But what I would say is that you can see that passion going through every single part of this video game. Yeah. And you know, my only concern for them as a studio is that they've now set the bar so high with their debut game that it's kind of like, I'm interested to see what they do next and whether they can get anywhere close to the same heights of video game. But what I would say is, regardless of whether they do or not, they'll always have Expedition 33. And I think that this will be a game that is looked back on in years to come as not only one of the best video games this year, but probably one of the best video games ever made. And I think that, you know, as Jeff kind of revealed just there, it is our Analog Stick Gaming Game of the Year this year. So congratulations to Sandful on winning another Game of the Year award. Don't worry, we won't take this one away from you for the use of AI. But yes, we have loved playing it. We've loved playing all of these games. You will, of course, see both of our individual top 10s on the website at some point, the same as Jeff put them up last year, along with all the other winners of all of our categories. You'll see that at some point, I imagine, within the next week.
Yeah.
But before we go, Jeff, do you have anything else you would like to say?
I mean, next year is going to be a very different Game of the Year, just because we're going to have everybody else on the team kind of contributing their lists. Yes. I don't know if we'll have anybody else on the podcast just because of like schedules and all that kind of stuff.
Time zone.
Yeah, but we're going to be, having a little bit of a different list, just because, again, like we're going to have, 4 to 5 people contributing,
but that also may bring in some really interesting discussions, because what we probably will do is, if we can't get others on the podcast, we will probably ask people for a little quote about their game that they've put it like about their Game of the Year specifically, and then we can talk about those things. Because we all like different things here, and Calvin likes different things to us, like Becky likes different things to us, Letitia likes different things, James likes different things, so we could end up with a really interesting list. But who knows? We'll see next year.
And like, this was an extremely tough top 10 to make. because there was tons of stuff that you'll see that we nominated in other categories that didn't make our top 10. And just because like when I put all the stuff that I really enjoyed throughout the end of the year, I had like 17 games, and then you have to like, say goodbye to 7 of them.
Yeah. I could have made a top 20 this year. Like, I joke about that a lot of the time, but this year it was genuinely true. I could have quite easily made a top 20 because there were so many more games I could have had on this list. And yeah, what an incredible year for video games 2025 has been in terms of the quality of the games that have been made. And we obviously look forward to even more great video games in 2026. We will be taking the first few days off next year, which means no podcast in very early January. But the second week of January, we will be back with our like most anticipated kind of look ahead at 2026. We'll probably think of 5 games each so that we've got a list of 10 games to speak about. And because there's some big releases coming next year. The only other thing I would shout out before we say, Happy New Year to everyone is that I am planning to have a Keeper review written and released this week on the website. So hopefully you can look out for that very soon, all being well, unless I decide to start dying of food poisoning again. But yeah, that will be coming very soon. You can check out a stream that I did of it on the channel here. As a reminder as well, our Call of Duty Black Ops 7 campaign playthrough is also on the channel, and we have now finished that playthrough. All the episodes are up now. You can go and check those out. Make sure you check us out, obviously, on analogstickgaming.com. Follow us on Blue Sky, all of that good stuff. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and all that. Let us know in the comments, what is your game of the year for 2025? We'd love to hear from you. And yes, we will see you very soon. But if we don't see you before, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2026.
See you guys.